Carly. So today we're going to be interviewing some high schoolers on questions regarding dating. Okay, you want to introduce yourself before we get started?
No.
I'm Grace Rhyme. I am a senior here at Blackhawk Christian.
My name is Nathan Vanetta, and I am a part-time student at...
Okay, so the question we have for you today is, when is it okay for a person to start dating?
People date?
I think it's appropriate to start dating when two people are old enough where they could get married if they wanted to, if things got too hard for them.
I think people should start dating when they're ready.
And what do you mean by ready?
When they aren't dumb.
So, maturity.
Yeah.
And do you think maturity has anything to do with dating?
I think 100%, yeah. If a guy is not mature enough to date a girl, then she's not gonna be fulfill her emotional needs that she needs for that relationship. And it's gonna be and it'll just be create space between them. Like they will be goofing off, or and then the girl's gonna be serious, and then we'll get the clash.
And what would you say makes a person mature enough to date?
I guess just being spiritually mature, having an understanding of what you want in a spouse, both biblically, physically, and mentally. Understanding the boundaries between that. You can't have two clashing boundaries. You can't have them intersect like that. You do coincide with each other.
Hello, I am Aiden Ganser. I am a senior at Blackhawk Christian.
What would you say is the reason for dating?
The reason for dating is to search for the person you want to spend the rest of your life with in marriage.
I think you should start dating when you're ready to have kids, when you're ready to settle down, and when you're ready to live together.
Dating is the road to marriage. So you don't date just to date. You want to date somebody who you know for a fact has marriage attributes to them. Somebody that has your same faith, same beliefs. You don't want to always be fighting all the time, because that's just not what you want to do.
So, what is something you think people should think about when they're dating? Something they should be aware of or cautious of?
Probably being over touchy with people. Like when you're around family and stuff like that, you don't want to be all over the other person, because that can give you a bad look on yourself and give a bad look on your relationship with the other person.
I don't think you want to date and then break up over and over again, because then it's practicing for divorce. By the time you do get married, you're already gonna have loved and left a lot of people. By the time you're just gonna be uncontent with that person, and you want to date a couple people maybe to just get a view of things, but don't just date to be in a relationship.
Something you should watch out for in a relationship is how much you trust that person. Trust goes two ways. If you trust someone too much, you get hurt. If you trust someone too little, you can also get hurt. Balance your trust and make sure you have someone you can trust, as well as making sure that they trust you as much as you'll trust them. Because if you have someone who doesn't trust you, and you have someone, and you're with someone who you trust a lot, but they don't trust you, then it's going at two different levels here. And working with two different levels, it's like trying to play soccer with a football. It's not gonna happen. And finding that equal ground where it's hey, I trust you with this, here, you can have the password to my phone. Or here, you can just have a burger, I guess. I don't know. It's trying to find that equal ground where you can trust someone and feel comfortable with that.
Is dating mentioned in the Bible?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe. I don't know.
No.
So how do we approach that as Christians?
I think we should look at the attributes of God, because for us to know what to do in anything, look at like who God is, and once dating, when it comes to dating, it's not mentioned in the Bible. So you have to look at like how God views marriage, and like marriage equals purity, and that applies to dating too. Since dating is a more modern thing, you shouldn't be like anti-dating. We should be pro-purity.
I don't know, pray on it, I guess.
Even though the Bible doesn't specifically say anything about dating and stuff like that, we should line up our beliefs and stuff on what God wants. So all of our dating relationships need to be built on a firm biblical foundation. So for example, in Colossians 3:23, it is whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working with the Lord, not for human masters. All of that is basically saying like, don't do it just to do it to make sure you build a biblical foundation.
Okay, we're getting a lot of really good answers, but we also need to back up our answers with the Bible and God's Word. And so are there any Bible verses that you think help to explain your answers?
Yeah, I think so. So there's this one verse. I think it's talking about unequal yokes. Let me look at it real quick. Yeah, it's 2 Corinthians 6:14. Do not be unequally yoked with non-believers, for a partnership has righteousness with its lawlessness. So I think the point of that is, because that applies with like all relationships, friendships, all that kind of stuff. So your close friends shouldn't be non-believers. Your boyfriend shouldn't be non-believers if you're a Christian too. I mean, like, because the whole point of dating and like relationships in general is to focus on God and then glorify God through each other. And if you can't do that with a non-believer, because they're worshiping the devil, whether they think they are or not, they're not focused on God. So focus on God, and then, so yeah.
So there are a few Bible verses that that goes along with this. One of them is Proverbs 10:9. It states that whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found. In my notes here, I have, we should date someone that won't bring us down and someone who can help us stay pure in the Lord. When the topic of dating an unbeliever comes up, in short, we should not date unbelievers as believers. As in 2 Corinthians 6:14, it says we should not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For an example, the Bible clearly states believers should not date or marry someone who is not a fellow Christ follower.
Yeah, on the topic of Bible verses, I had a pretty good Bible verse, but I can't read my phone.
Okay, how long should you date before you get married? And is living together before marriage okay?
There's no set time on when you should get married. It's just whether you and the other person are ready to start life together and are ready to start that full commitment of that forever. Marriage should be that ride or die where no matter what, you should always be trying to go through it, and divorce should never be an option. Living with somebody before marriage probably should not even be in the question, because of the fact that living together will give people assumptions that you guys are doing stuff that are impure in God's eyes, and we're always called to be pure in God's eyes.
I think you should start dating. Once you start dating, I feel like you should get married. Once you temptation becomes overwhelming too much, like when you start to lust on a regular basis, because it's only natural you're gonna lust every now and then. It's just how that works. But lusting consistently and constantly is gonna be it's just gonna make it so much harder for temptation. I think that you should get married and then have a short engagement instead of a long engagement, because that decreases temptation too.
So you feel like it's based off of your passion and your feeling, and like the sin of lust is when you should get married.
Yes.
Okay.
On the topic of when to choose to answer the first question, when is it appropriate to marry after you start dating? Coming from parents who got married 5 months after they started dating, I think it's really when you're both mature. I know my parents, they're going on 32 years this summer, and so they're happy. I exist. It's really, if you know that it's like, if you're mature, and I think living together before marriage is great. That's not my answer. Don't take that seriously. Shouldn't be done. I mean, you could plan it out. You could live in not the same apartment, but same apartment building, maybe apartment apart, so you're always close by each other. But that's the closest it probably should be until you actually fully say, "Hey, I'm gonna settle down. I'm gonna get married. You're gonna get married, and then you're married."
Okay, so our last question is, what is one thing that you would tell someone who wants to start dating, or something that you wish you would have known when you were younger?
I think for me personally, I wish I would have known not to settle for anybody, because the right guy at the right time will be worth waiting for. Don't just date anybody because it's popular. You need a boyfriend, because honestly, you don't need a boyfriend and you don't need to date. So yeah.
I think one thing I would have told myself if I knew about it is just that take your time. Appreciate. There's some values in being single. You see light in different ways when you're single. Love is a powerful emotion. It can blind you to what you actually like should see, should notice. It's something like overpowering. It's just a very strong feeling. So love, but don't love to the point you're blind.
One thing I would say would be, do not date in middle school. Just don't, because there's no good thing that will come out of it, and even if you think it's good, it probably won't be. You should probably start dating when you are about junior year, senior year. That is when you're the most like mature you can get into high school, and that's when you can finally start like making decisions for yourself. And another thing that is that I wish I would have known is, don't surround relationships with your feelings and how you feel with somebody, because things can get really nasty really fast, and relationships can ruin friendships that have been built since elementary school.